Hello, this is Mike from Dimensional Walking, and today we're going to do an interesting video. I think it's going to be interesting for you. And the name of it is the title will be The State of Earth, Stephen Hawking with Elon Musk Sidebar. Okay, there you go. I'm sure that'll perk your interest, maybe. We'll see. So the theoretical, well, first of all, let me say this. The reason I've done videos and I've done articles on Stephen Hawking in the past. And I want to do another one now because I think it's really important. I'm kind of been sitting here over this last weekend and looking at 2024 and realize we are in a shit mess, basically. Okay. Um, you know, Watching these wars, global climate change, just kind of the unrest in this country, um, basically the unrest around the world, and it's not looking good. Let's face it, it really isn't in many ways. So, anyways, Stephen had said some pretty interesting things in the past. Of course, as you may or may not know, he died in 2018. So, a lot of this information goes back to at least 2018, and some of the conversations he had and some of the interviews he had actually. So let's go from there. So the theoretical physicist Stephen Hawking has always had some advice for humans. And in 2018 or slightly before 2018, he actually said it's time to get off. And what he was saying was time to get off of Earth. Okay. And he believes the long-term future of the human race is in outer space. Okay. Um, and he said this he didn't just say this once, he said it several times. I saw several interviews that he repeated this again, so I think he was quite serious about this this type of concept. um, he said it is difficult enough basically to avoid disaster on this planet for the next couple hundred years, let alone the next thousand or million years. Okay, and the human race should not put all their eggs in one basket, which would be our planet presently. Um, so he believes that we need to move off Earth, and did then, and I'm sure he would double down on it now. To be perfectly honest with you, Stephen said that the called mankind survival a question of touch and go. Uh, he referred to such things as the Cuban Missile Crisis in 1963, where some of you listening to this probably don't really remember much of it or weren't even born then, but I do remember it, and it was a scary ass time. And I think at the time people didn't realize how close we really came to uh, global annihilation, because a couple nuclear bombs would have just had a chain reaction, and basically it would be over for everybody. So that's why we shouldn't have nuclear weapons at all. So at the time in 1963, we had 22,000 approximately nuclear weapons in the world, including over 7,000 uh, that were we're talking about stockpiled ones now. There's a little difference in about almost 8,000 that were still operational and were scattered around the world. There was always a stockpile hanging out there that could be converted and activated fairly quickly, but then there was the active ones that were ready to be launched. So that was quite a few of them. So there was other people that Stephen knew and talked about. One of them was Robert Smith. He was also a science astrophysicist from University of Sussex, and his point was that global warming it's eventually will probably get to a point, or could very well get to a point in the future where basically all the water on the surface would evaporate. And I'm not saying that anybody hearing this video now that's going to happen to us, but it surely will happen down the road. if global warming is allowed to continue. People don't realize that, but I guess when you're short-sighted and don't really care about the future of mankind, really, then you're not worried about down the road. Um, but chances are that will happen eventually. So basically, all life would disappear at that point, including mankind, unless he gets off the planet. Yeah, because global warming is, as far as I'm concerned, yes, we may blow ourselves up with nuclear weapons, but global warming is definitely going to be the big elephant in the room down the road. Okay, it's already started, as we all should be noticing. Um, and of course, this would be much quicker than the thing that everybody had said eventually will end the Earth was the fact, uh, 7 billion years or so, scientists are saying the aging of the sun would actually expand and encompass and destroy the Earth. I mean, nobody's worried about 7 billion years from now for sure. Okay, but these other events are going to happen a lot sooner, unless we take really great care, and I don't think we're willing to great care. I think what we will do, though, or we should do, is try to get off planet. At least some of us get off planet, and if the disaster is coming fairly quickly, we can get as many people off planet as possible. So Stephen is saying that if we can avoid disaster in the next couple centuries, so that's 200 years, our species should be safe as we spread into outer space. Okay, so he's thinking if we can get through 200 years and we really put our mind to it and try to get into outer space to some other planets or some other galaxies or wherever, we should definitely human race will survive. um and one of the interesting things Stevens also said is that we should be quite cautious. Now, I've already written about this, quite cautious about trying to contact other alien life. And of course, we've always tried to. I mean, personally, I believe they've been here and among us for a very, very long time. I guess Stephen doesn't have that belief at all, and that's fine. But anyways, I do. I did plenty of videos and plenty of articles on alien life on this planet that living among us. So, um, and his reasoning was that he wasn't sure if the alien life was friendly. Okay. And I agree with him on that one. We don't really know precisely, as it seems like some are fairly friendly. And it seems like, reptilian types and draconian types basically are not friendly. But they've been among us for a very long time. And who knows, maybe the bad guys have been creating all kinds of chaos in our world from the beginning of time. I don't doubt that at all. So, if we are the only intelligent beings in the galaxy, we should make sure we survive and continue. That's another thing he said. I doubt very much if we're the only beings in our galaxy. That's hopeful thinking, wishful thinking, and it's not true. There's definitely all kinds of other beings out here, among us on Earth, other galaxies, solar systems, etc. So they're not probably like us necessarily, although I think some of them are very similar to us in many ways. So, anyways, one of the things about humans is we know on Earth they move from place to place on Earth. Now we're talking about, and they kind of muck up the area that they left to move to areas that they haven't mucked up. But they're going to run out of this moving around business, especially with global warming, because some of these places they think they wanted to move to are not going to be inhabitable anymore. So it's going to put everybody in a tighter space, and it's going to cause, you know, chaos between peoples, countries, and more war. So, anyways, that's not great. Let's face it. Um, The other thing he also has said it in 2018, and actually 2017, I think it was, that our technology, as great as it is and as amazing it is, we could also help destroy the environment faster. basically, and he's saying we are sort of running out of time to some extent because we're going to be fighting our own technology. To we just need to get moving out off the planet as quick as possible. At least have that dual possibility of living on Earth, having another place off Earth, and if we can move back and forth before Earth, becomes too polluted or no more water, etc. Which this very well could happen. Let me just throw this in about Mars. I think personally, and there may be some other people out there believe it, Mars basically went through this. I mean, I believe there was somebody on Mars, Martians, I guess, and they basically, you know, global warming came and took all the surface water off pretty much. There is still probably some water at the poles on Mars, but I think, they had to move underground. Some of them probably eventually came to Earth. So probably the Martians are probably a great example of what we should be doing. I don't know if we should go to Mars, but because they have no atmosphere there either of any kind of habitable type atmosphere there. So anyway, so there was this other astrophysicist named Kathleen Fries, and she brought up some interesting points. I guess the closest star to Earth is uh, Proxima Centauri. Yeah, I'm probably saying that wrong, but I know the Centauri part is right, and sure, which is about 4.2 million light years away. And of course, man's ability right now, as we know it, it would take 50,000 years to get there. Okay. So the point is to go very far to probably areas for sure that had habitable planets. It would take way, way, way too long with our technology. Um, so, anyways, let's see what else we got here. What was I going to say? I wanted to, there's another little thing. Oh, yeah. Um, So the only way I think that we could get to these other places is probably trying to use alien technology. Okay, because chances are they came from a long distance here, and even though I believe they're among us presently, they did travel a long distance at some point and were able to do it successfully. And the interesting thing, let me just tell you this, and this is the Elon Musk part of this uh, video. I have, I told people before, and I kind of laugh and smile. I've told through emails and through sending them uh, messages on X that he would never be able to build permanent settlements on either the moon or Mars. And I did other videos, and there was good reasons why I said that. I was just not talking at my butt. There was some decent reasons for that. But the interesting thing, if he wants to do that, and I'm sure he's going to try, and he is trying, obviously, is that the aliens would just let him waste his money and time, but they're not going to let him have settlements on those two planets. So they're going to have to go farther beyond those two planets, and they're not really great places to be, the moon or Mars. They're just not. So, anyways, I just had to throw that in there. Whenever I get a chance, I love to throw that in there about Elon. Um, so, anyways, Uh, there's some other dangers that this doctor here, Catherine Fries, mentioned. I want to mention also too. There's this great thing we don't talk about much is this cosmic radiation danger um, that apparently is when you get out away from our planet. It's pretty amazing. I mean, it's very powerful and it can kill you in a New York minute. But what she was saying is that it's unless we develop some type of warp drive or cryogenic freezing technology that we could put people's bodies to in a suspended animation for probably thousands of years, no, we're not going to get it very far beyond our solar system. And a lot of these people, including Stephen, I think, believe that you had to get way beyond the solar system. So. Anyways, one other thing Stephen has said, and this was interesting, I thought. He had said that he was really afraid. artificial intelligence. And now this was, remember, this was probably 2016, 2017. And that was really before the last few years where AI has just exploded. Okay, as you all know, all of a sudden here we are. AI is all over the place. Okay, we're all talking about it. It's constantly in the news, so it's a major factor in our lives now. Um, but he felt that it would end our civilization if we weren't very, very careful with it. And it's pretty interesting to think about that because the simple fact is that um, Stephen used AI. They built him that communication thing where he could actually communicate because of his disease, could communicate by using his eyes. And that was pretty, a lot of this was done through some type of AI type technology several years ago. So he was right at the cutting edge of it. But still, he said that there was a great danger. And I want to listen to this man. I really do. I think he was is one of the smartest people that we've ever had on earth. Um, so So I just want to make another comment about my old buddy Elon Musk. So he must have been, in many ways, if you think about it, he must have been kind of channeling Stephen Hawking, um, at least in some things. And I believe he should have listened. He should be listening more to what Stephen Hawking has said in the past. Okay, because otherwise he's going to go astray. I think that's my personal opinion. I generally like the guy, I really do, but I've been pretty critical about him right along for many reasons. Because I think he just gets way too distracted and his focus is away from his important stuff like this car companies and his some of his other off science projects and of course SpaceX. Uh, the thing with X, come on, give me a break. It's crazy stuff. So, anyways, with all that said, hopefully you enjoyed it. I'm sure there's plenty of comments out there. I'm sure, my buddies on Reddit and Facebook will have some really profound things to say, and I appreciate all the comments, and I do try to answer all of them. So, anyways, with all that said, thanks a lot, and we'll see you next time. Bye bye.